Okay, my England versus Croatia Football World Cup previews I am doing now. And this is going to be a great matchup. Now, these two sides have been Croatia have been really good at the last two World Cups, incredibly making two semi-finals and one final in their last two World Cups. And then England, just high quality side overall. And their most recent form, both sides, on and off, they've struggled and then they've also done well. England coming off 2 wins in friendlies, convincing one, their most recent win, and then Croatia, disappointing losses recently against Belgium and Brazil. But there are questions over both sides, I think. England, there are questions of whether they can live up to expectations, which there always are for England at World Cups, while Croatia, they are just... They're a young, they're an old side, experienced side, but then they're up-and-comers around there. And they've got to balance that out. They've got to make sure that they get selections right and are able to work together, as they usually are at World Cups. That's what's made their team so good. And that's the test here, whether they can do what they have done last two World Cups again. This is on the 17th on Wednesday over in America at Dallas Stadium. This is in Group L with Ghana and Panama. So possible teams that could be banana skins. They could slip over to Ghana especially. So this is a crucial match. And it most likely will decide the top spot. And that is big because the second place side is going to have a much tougher opposition than that first place side. So this is a really big match where they have to perform at a high level for this game. And they need to hit the ground running. England, they're strong. They've got magic outside the box, especially these midfielders and wingers. They've got some good playmakers as wingers. Just magical performance. Like these players can just produce a lot out of nothing, and that's what England pride themselves on. But they're not just individuals this World Cup. I think Tuchel's brought them better together as a team, and it's not just the fans' pick, it's the coach's pick, of course, and that's where they should get their most success with these. They're working together. If they can work together, I think they will be a really tough team to beat. Croatia, on the other hand, they've just got a really experienced midfield. And their team, they pride themselves on their teamwork, how well they work as a team. That's what brought them through in the World Cups. And living for the big moment, beating the big teams. They love doing that. They love being the underdogs, and that's where they achieve their best football. This midfield is going to be key. Modric and Kovacic, Kramaric, Perisic, Pasalic. So many itches. But those guys are going to be key for them to produce big results. Their weaknesses, England are vulnerable on the counter-attack. And we've seen that a few times. They do get caught out. But that's all like a lot of these big teams who sit up front. And Croatia also fall vulnerable to their issue as well sometimes. Especially with fast attackers when they're defending, because they don't have that much speed in defence. So those fast attackers, especially Madueke and Gordon, may get behind those defenders and produce opportunities. That's where they could match up, and that's where they could win or lose. Vardio will be key at cutting down, especially Madueke on that right wing side, or Gordon or Rashford, whoever is playing there. Well, key players, of course, Harry Kane, the man of England, this guy's going to be key of how they play. And he's not going to be a usual striker. I think him and Bellingham will rotate around in that front position, as they have been. And Kane dropping deep to produce opportunities is so key for their success. Bellingham playing that false nine with Kane, they can then have someone up top finishing opportunities. So they will get a lot of creativity through Kane and their wingers. So that's where England are so good. And Pickford will also be a key player for England, as he is just... It just depends. He's going to be so important. If he performs, then England will be happy. If he doesn't perform, then they may struggle. Pickford has also been so key as a goalkeeper. He's not the best goalkeeper in the world, but he has been a key man for England in that goal, and he always stands up for them with the white shirt. So he's one of their big players within the team. Croatia, of course, Modric and Vardiol. Those are the two guys that they look to for producing big moments. Vardiol will be key, being the man in defence, and Modric, because this defence isn't perfect, I don't think. I think there's a lot of improvements they could make. They're not amazing in defence, so he's got to be key. And Modric is just Luka Modric, 40 years of age, or however old he is. This guy doesn't stop. He's still going to be quality, high quality, and he's key in producing Croatia's success. The key battles within this match, I think, will be... I think it'll come within the wingers and fullbacks matchups, because that's where I think England slightly outplay Croatia. But the big areas is, I think, the scoring area, because Croatia, I don't think, have that great players to finish off goals and put the finishing touches, while Harry Kane is phenomenal at that. That is where the big success could come. Harry Kane versus those defenders of Croatia. That's where I think England can win the game. Those defensive midfielders, Rice, Anderson, Kovacic, Modric, those guys will also be dominating the play, controlling the game, controlling the flow. It'll be interesting to see the tempo they try to produce within this match, because they could decide how they produce chances, control the game, will be decisive in how they play. One tactical point I think comes from this match is that the wingers for England are going to be key, and the fast players within transition. Whoever is good within transitions is going to produce chances, because these two sides are both quite vulnerable to quick transitions. The big factor, I think, though, is the midfield battle. And the best creators will win. If Luka Modric turns it on, then I think they have a massive chance, Croatia. While England, if they've got so many creators, if they can produce chances and put them in the back of the net, they will win. So overall, I think England have more depth within their team, more players that can create and finish chances. So I forecast that England will beat Croatia 2-0. Alright, tune in for more.